A photograph doesn't always show the world the way it is. It's a snapshot, a flat frame of a 360 world. A photographer chooses the story their photo tells. In the case of today's photo, a historical town peacefully reflected. The reality? Well, I hated summer the past 2 years just because it can be exhausting as a photographer. Sunsets at like 9, 10 o'clock, sunrise is at 5, but that was pre-balanced Brendan. This year I'm actually loving summer because I feel like I'm so productive. I'm picking either sunrise or sunset. Here in Portugal it's sunset every day and basically working the entire day. So it's now like 6 p.m. and we're finally getting our day started. We're going on a bit of a road trip. We've driven about an hour out of Porto, basically inland along the river to a town called Amarante, or Amarante, I actually don't know how they pronounce it. But we're here basically not on a whim, but on crowdsourcing. My Facebook group often gives me advice to where to go, and as often as I use apps like Trover to find locations, I find that crowdsourcing, nothing beats crowdsourcing, especially from locals. If you go onto the internet and you look for best places to photograph in Portugal, this place doesn't register, but some quick Google image searching, and it looks like it's cool. It looks like there's definitely maybe a photo or two here. So we're gonna head down to the water, grab some dinner, and then scout out for a location to shoot. So this might be the strangest place ever. It's just like it's a funny vibe here. It kind of feels like, it feels more like South America than it does Europe for sure. And we're not really sure what's going on, but the entire street is covered in like, it feels like Bangkok as well, where you got all these just random knickknacks and things like tourist souvenirs and knockoff sunglasses, knockoff shoes. Yeah, just I don't know how to describe this place other than a little bit strange. So you guys know how I'm trying to eat healthy. Jody's like trying to throw this in my face because one of my favorite dishes, not just in Portugal, but the entire world, is that francesinha. And it looks amazing here. It's basically a Monte Cristo with like gravy, and it's, I don't know how this one is specifically, but it's usually like ham and meat and cheese and toasted bread, and apparently something's moving and Jody's freaking out.
Oh my god, it's moving.
It's just bubbles, baby. You'll be okay. So we kind of may have decided that there might be some sort of festival or something happening, which is why the craziness. We're up on the bridge. This is the famous bridge here. I think that's a cathedral there. And this is where we're hoping to photograph. But with all this craziness, I'm not sure where to shoot from. It does look like there's some sort of pathway down that way. So I think eventually we're gonna walk down there and shoot straight across this way from the other side of the river. But it's beautiful here. This side of the river is really beautiful, so we're gonna quickly go and check it out before setting up the gear. So this is such a classic Brendan moment because the light's good. I had the spot I wanted to shoot from, but now I saw like this old walkway up the side of this cathedral or building, and I thought it looked like fun. So I'm exploring instead of shooting, and yeah, I should probably go shoot something, but I wanted to see what this looks like from up here. Okay, exploration time is over. Really have to go and get set up. I was gonna say there's like a potential of getting really good light, but I've been jinxing myself so much lately. I'm gonna say there's gonna be no light. It's gonna be hideous. But we're gonna take pictures even though it's gonna be hideous. So let's cruise. I really want to go up these stairs, but I think I would have to be more of a ninja than I am. So instead, Jody could do it. Jody's totally a ninja. But I think that we're gonna set up down here. There is really nice color in the sky right now. This is one of those situations that I almost wish I was more of the type to composite images, because I would shoot one image now with these beautiful clouds in the sky and then wait until some light comes on the building, and I still might do that. But I'm just gonna set up and shoot a bit of a classic shot here with the bridge and this old cathedral. So there's a rock over right here. I think I'm just gonna get Jody to sit on that rock and pose just to have another element to this image, to make it a travel image. If you just do an image like this, it's architecture, it's landscape, whatever you want to call it. By adding a human element, it really definitely makes it a travel image. So filters are on. I'm probably just gonna go 4-stop medium grad ND to hold in this light in the sky, and hopefully this comes out cool. I think there's actually lots of shots here. I think one shot would be cool with a long lens and just cutting out the sky, just having this circle of this bridge. I think that could be cool. The light was hot for a second and just died basically as soon as I found a composition I like, but it's still good enough, I think. But the problem I'm having is my camera doesn't get wide enough, my lens doesn't get wide enough here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a 3-shot pano. I'm gonna split my camera vertical and I'm just gonna shoot 1, 2, 3 images. And it's not to get it wider necessarily, but taller. So I actually kind of want this to be a square crop, I think. Or maybe 4x5. So I think the light's getting good. I want to talk about this pano before I shoot it. To make things really easy, you have to do like 3 things to get a pano proper. You want to get, first of all, your camera into manual. You get your camera into manual, everything. Manual white balance, manual shutter speed, manual everything. That way when you bring it into Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever, it has an even exposure to work with. The second thing you want to do is make sure your tripod's level and your camera's horizon's level. That way, if you have a 3-legged thing tripod like this, you can just use the pano and literally just twist the camera and it'll stay totally perfect and flat. I think this is gonna come out awesome, so I'm gonna grab these shots. I've been talking a lot on this episode because I'm excited about what's happening. And the light's not perfect, but it's good. It's got this very medieval dark feel, and I think I'm gonna underexpose this photo a little bit, but that's not what I wanna talk about. What I wanna talk about is trying to see the smaller picture. It's so easy to come to a location like this and you've got these hanging apartments, you've got the cathedral, you've got this dome, you've got the bridge. It's so easy to want a pano and to get everything in, but I think the best picture isn't necessarily the biggest one, but often just the best composed one. So the shot I have working right now is actually kind of just cutting everything off a little bit. I've got the dome right in the middle of the frame, I've got a perfect reflection, I'm cutting the bridge off a little bit, and then I've got the pinnacle of that, I guess that other cathedral, or maybe the same cathedral, in the other corner. And it all just works really well. I've got the 4-stop medium grad ND on right now, nothing else. And it's a 2.5 second exposure at f/16. But what I'm gonna do now that I've got it is take it to the next level and put a 6-stop ND and go for like a 60-second exposure and hopefully capture some of this movement in the sky. I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the background, but the carnival or whatever's happening here is in full force right now. The light died as soon as sunset happened, but I really like the light we got. I think it just worked perfectly for this location, and I cannot wait to get home and edit these photos. So I think let's do that. Let's get home. And maybe just like quickly, I'll show you guys how I stitched those panos together, because it is really, really fast. Okay, I'm in a bed editing because this is by far the best place to edit. Anybody knows that, it's common knowledge. I'm going to take you into my laptop right now. I'm going to show you guys quickly how to do a pano in Lightroom because it is really, really, really simple. It's extremely simple. I've edited all my other images, I've just left this one, so I haven't touched this image, though. The one I talked about, I said I was going to shoot 3 images, I ended up shooting 4 panos like this. And so what you do in the develop module is you just go to the bottom, and these are my 4 images, and you select them all. So like so, right click, and then you go up to photo merge panorama. And then what this is going to do is it's just going to bring all those images together. So now we have basically all the images brought together. This is totally completely unedited down here. But yeah, these are the 4 images, and this is actually not the actual rendered photo. This is just kind of a preview, and you've got all these options. But for this one, we're just going to go with spherical. You've got this auto crop button, which will just crop in the corners. But I always leave that wide open because sometimes my crop is a square or something like that. So I just leave everything wide open and I hit merge. Once you hit merge, what's happening is it's now rendering all those files into a TIFF file. So it's taking all those raws and it's punching them all together into the TIFF file that again is totally unedited. And you can edit all the raw files first and then process them, but I think it's a bit of a waste of time to do that because you might edit the image before turning it into a pano and then realize that the pano doesn't work or the pano looks ugly. So I always do the edit after I edit the TIFF file. So it's done. Down here you can see there's the 4 original images and then the pano right there. So we're going to click on the pano in the develop module, and then we're just going to edit this image really, really quickly. I'm going to crop it last, but I kind of have like a weird formula that I do. I'm not sure it's a weird formula, but I have a formula when I edit. I always bring the shadows, mess with the shadows first. In this image, I feel like the shadows need to be brought up a little bit because it's a little bit dark. Doesn't seem like there's any clipping, so nothing's too dark, but it does feel like the image is a touch dark. So I'm going to go up a little bit on the exposure to there. I'd like to keep some of these highlights in, so I'm going to drop the highlights down to there. Then I want the color to punch, so I'm going to go way up on the color, probably to 39, and then just add 5 saturation. Something like that, looks good. I love the whites in a photo. I think it makes the whole image look brighter. Lively, I think is the right word. Dehaze is something I haven't been touching ever until recently because I feel like dehazing kind of, it hurts the image quality a lot. But recently I've kind of been pulling it up to like +10 on a lot of images just because I do like that the feel it's giving to some of these images. Clarity, generally I kind of keep it at 0. On this image I want to bring it up just a little bit to make it a little bit edgier. We'll go to like 11 or 15 or something like that. And that's my image. I think from a crop perspective, I probably want to go 4:5, something like that. Looks like it might be a little bit off, so we'll twist it a touch. And then I think maybe I want to move it a bit more over this way. Now we got some kind of negative space over in this area. The 2/3 marks right between these buildings. And I think it looks good. I think I would clean this one leaf off by doing that. And that's my image. To be honest, I much prefer my non-pano images from today to the pano images. But it's still a fun technique, it's still something to do, it's something to play with. And I mean, worst case scenario, shoot a pano, but then also shoot a regular normal shot. And you never know which one you're gonna like better until you get it home. And yeah, that's it for today's episode. Really fun location, Amarante. But it was so weird. It was such a strange place because you had this beautiful fairy tale town right in front of you. Behind you, you had the weirdest carnival ever going on. So yeah, strange situation, but it was a lot of fun. It was good to get out shooting. It was good to get some good light. And I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.